Southeastern and Nichols are currently underway in the second half. Southeastern is up by 10, wants to take that #1 seed away from Nichols and split the regular season title. But we know this, Lamar has just lost to McNeese. That means Sam Houston State will do no worse than the 4 seed if they lose today, and they take the 3 seed away from the Lumberjacks. On that note, Lincoln Rose, along with Hall of Fame coach, trying to split here in Huntsville, and Chris Galbraith Jr. will be among the seniors trying to go out on a winning note to close out their tenure in Huntsville.
He's a 6'7", he's averaging 15 points a game. He shoots really well from the field, three-pointers over 33%. And this is a kid that he's been a scorer here for 2 years now, and they're going to win today. If Sam Houston State's going to win, Galbraith has to step up and play big.
So again, we came into today knowing that SFA would be no worse than the #4 seed in year #2 under Kyle Keller. You see his starting lineup. As promised, Bogues is not in that starting 5. He will come off the bench for Coach Keller. But a little bit of relief for the Bearcats, win or lose. They will do no worse than 4th. They have locked up now a top 4 seed and a day off. A couple hours ago, there's a chance if Lamar had prevailed over McNeese and avoided the upset against Coach Simmons' Cowboys, it would have been Lamar taking that 4 seed, and Sam would have been playing on day 1. On the drive, no sir, swatted away by Kevon Harris, and here come the Lumberjacks.
What a base early to this basket game. Very athletic teams here today. 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", they can move. What a great game we're going to have.
And the first 2 points belong to TJ Holyfield. Oh, he has seen both sides of this rivalry. His brother Michael, one of the top defenders in Sam Houston State history.
Well, we're going to see Stephen Elm has got a great defensive basketball team. Stephen Elm, right now, he's playing great defense, though.
And we should note SFA has brought quite the traveling crowd here.
A great crowd.
And you will hear from both sides of this rivalry throughout the ups and downs.
Sam Houston State's a great defensive team. They didn't play great defense last game, but I think they'll play it today. They'll have to find a way to slow down Charles and Company.
Ty Charles, along with his SFA program, looking for its 100th victory over the last 4 years. Unbelievable. Obviously averaging better than 25 wins a year. And Charles will pour the 3, Leon Gilmore will pour in the 3 out of his left hand.
Wide open. Somehow there was a mix-up defensively for Sam Houston State. You cannot give a good shooter a wide open look.
Over in Nacogdoches, SFA won the first meeting this year. Lumberjacks shot extremely well to overcome some turnovers. They did a nice job denying Sam Houston State rebounds. So kick out. Quick release with a second to spare on the shot clock. Second chance opportunity here. Going in for the flush. The crowd's electrified by the senior Chris Galbraith.
What a play by Galbraith, driving baseline, dunking it. There's no defense for that play.
His second final year as a Bearcat. Looking to leave Huntsville with a victory. Moving on to the conference tournament. And another one from Gilmore.
Gilmore has been open 2 times in a row, Lincoln. Somehow there's been a mix-up defensively for Sam Houston State. Cannot give that wide open a look.
They had the dunk from Galbraith a moment ago. Shot clock is down to 4. And SFA recovered it, but on the line, this is Bearcat basketball with only 2 seconds to shoot.
Just right now, offensively, point guard has to alert everybody for the Bearcats. Whoever touches this ball has to put it up. Halftime for a catch and pass, you got to catch and shoot.
And another second chance, but it won't. Ivan Kinnett started playing more point guard here late in the season, really enjoying it. Trying to get Ty Charles involved that time. Long rebound, they say last touch by the Bearcats.
When you got a point guard that can control your offense, get it to the right people, and not turn the ball over, pretty doggone tough for you.
Charles inside to Holyfield. Gilmore, already with 2 threes today, had only hit 4 all season long. TJ. Gilmore looking for the trifecta. Yes, sir!
When you're feeling it like Gilmore is feeling it right now, you can throw all those stats you've been reading out the door. When you hit your first 2, the shot clock's down to 2 seconds, and you get one, nothing but nylon.
He just hit 4 of his first 24 three-pointers attempted this year. He's gone 3 for 3 today. And out of bounds along the baseline. Aubrey and Edwards steps out. As we go to our first break, SFA is rolling in Huntsville. Leon Gilmore III with his third triple. And it's a 9-point advantage for the Lumberjacks.
The countdown to Katy has begun. The Southland Conference Basketball Tournament, March 7th through 11th at the Merrill Center in Katy, Texas. Experience it live as Southland teams compete for a tournament title and a chance to go to the dance. It's affordable family fun and great college hoops action. Tickets for the Southland Conference Basketball Tournament are on sale through school ticket offices and Ticketmaster.com.
I've loved the outdoors my entire life, I think. I love being outside, experiencing nature. I'm Dr. Matthew McBroom, Professor of Forest Hydrology at SFA. What separates our forestry and environmental science students is that they're willing to go beyond the passion and turn it into action. Our thinking is, let's figure out a problem and let's look for a solution. My job is to ensure that lumberjacks make great foresters, one lumberjack at a time.
Well, we take a look at a slightly disputed series history as Sam Houston State has this as the 202nd all-time meeting, including the discrepancy being back during the World War II era. SFA believes this is the 200th all-time meeting between the two programs, that they did not field a varsity team back in the 44-45 season. Either way, SFA does have the advantage here in the Battle of the Piney Woods and certainly has the advantage here tonight on the road. One of these two teams will finish as your number 3 seed. The other one will be your number seed. Both guaranteed 1 day off in the conference tournament under the Southland Conference format.
Harris right now does a great job of posting up. A lot of people think that was an offensive foul if you're for the team in white.
As right now, SFA is shooting 80%, including 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. Gilmore. Again, 3 for 3 today, Gilmore is from downtown. Poke loose, it'll Stephen F. Austin. Active hands defensively from Jamal Williams, one of your 2 seniors honored before the game today.
Gilmore's playing inspired right now. He's saying, hey, I'm a senior. I don't intend to come over here and lose this rivalry game today.
Jason Hooten doesn't bother wearing a suit jacket to games anymore. And that's why you've got your safety back in Kevon Harris. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Bearcats down by 9 early. Looking to re-energize the crowd. There are only 2 points, the flush from Galt. And foul on the floor.
When you can't score, you penetrate to the basket. And that's what Sam Houston State did on that possession. And that's what Dewey did a job of drawing the foul, get the ball out of bounds. If your outside shot's not falling, get it to the rack.
Harris will come out in favor of Shannon Bogues. the transfer out of McLennan Community College.
You know, when we talked to Coach Keller the other day on the phone, he's talking about playing 9 or 10 players. Yeah. You know, I'm not a big advocate. I don't want him 7 or 8, and that's what he said. He might play 11 here today.
He simply does not have enough minutes in a basketball game to get all the guys in that he'd like to based on talent. Kennett right now guarding John Dewey III. Dewey fires one in. And, well, shades of Holyfield. It was Mike Holyfield who was always good for a few rejections. That time, TJ, who's a bit more of a perimeter player, comes through with the denial.
Great defense at that time.
Here's Jay. Both of them grew up in New Mexico in the Albuquerque area, but TJ played his high school ball over in Florida. Bogues looking for his first points. Dewey with the dish. And stripped away by Augustin. Kennett, extra pass. Bogues with the baseline drive. First 2 points off the bench for Shannon Bogues. He went off for 29 against Sam Nacogdoches earlier this year.
You'll see great balls. They're sharing the basketball right now. And I'm talking about Stephen F. The purple machine is one person's got a good look at the basket. Another person's got a better look. They're giving it up. They're playing unselfish. There's an example of look as he takes the ball, goes to the rack, but that's because they give up the basketball, and he has an opportunity to go and do a reverse layup.
You excited about the conference tournament yet? That's potentially just your number 3 or 4 seed.
Yeah, it's going to be a great tournament. And let me tell you, teams can win when no one wants to get the credit for winning. When a player says, hey, let's win, and I'm going to put the team before what I'm doing as an individual, you can win a championship with that.
Congratulations to Nichols and Southeastern. They split the regular season title. Southeastern today locked up the number 1 seed at the expense of Nichols. They played head-to-head in Hammond.
I don't think it matters which one of those teams is first or second. They got quality basketball teams. They'll let them play. Boy, this Stephen F. is a swarming defense right now.
Holyfield rebound. Leon Gilmore, the third right now on the bench, resting with his 9 points. First look today at Sami Nieminen, young man out of Helsinki, Finland. He's in the low post at the moment. No need for a rebound. Boog strikes again.
What an instant offense. You can bring a kid off the bench and don't even start for you. He's got 4 points and about 2 shots.
Holyfield so disciplined, doesn't leave his feet. Galbraith looking for the long 2. Bearcats down by Baker's dozen. Just 7 minutes one. By the way, it's a rivalry game.
Oh, yeah. And let me say this now. If you're down 15-2, there's no 13-point plays. If you're Sam Houston State, hang in there, hang tough, try to get it back a little bit at a time.
Our officials will have their hands full.
I'm going to also say they're huddling right now, and when 3 officials huddle, that bothers me just a hair. I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but we're going to the monitor to check on something.
There was no foul called initially. You assume they are looking to take a look at the option involving Kennett. Some chest bumping. Well, no, right now, Sam Houston State on a 5-minute dry spell. 0 for the last 6 shots as SFA has pulled out to a 13-point lead.
Let me say this. I don't know what the decision's about, but Jason Hooten not very happy with what's going on. Looks like when they meet that shortly, they all say, let's go. There's nothing to it.
They didn't see anything to merit any flagrant. As everything
the ref
appeared on the up and up.
The ref come over here to tell us what's going on. One of the Sam Houston fans wanted to get in his little dig about what Holyfield's doing defensively. And it always happens in the game.
Very impartial fan.
Very impartial.
Chance of defense from the folks cheering on the men from Nacogdoches, Texas. Clock down to 4. Driving in, little floater is good out of the right hand of Jamal Williams. That'll end the 5.5-minute drought for the Bearcats.
That's a senior. This is senior day. Step up and make plays. You don't want to lose the yards rival at home.
They left him open. 4 for 4. 12 points early on. He's already matched the 4 3-pointers he hit all year.
I've said it all along. When somebody goes to beat you, let somebody else. Don't let that player beat you.
That explains the 3 after his name.
And defense is much easier to play once you hit the 3 ball.
And on the opposite end, just off the mark from Edwards. And a foul underneath. SFA with an unlikely source of triples. 4 of them already from Gilmore to a 14-point lead. Kyle Keller with his Lumberjacks huddled up. Coach Keller now in his 2nd year at the helm of the Lumberjacks. Was close friends with Brad Underwood, the man whom he follows into Nacogdoches, as Underwood would go on to take a job with Oklahoma State, now at Illinois in the Big Ten. But Kyle Keller's done a nice job taking over the reins and keeping this program on track. A high bar to live up to nowadays in Nacogdoches.
Yes, when Coach Underwood set the standards, but Coach Keller's keeping the standards high. They had great success. They're after their 25th victory, I think, here tonight.
For 5 years, he lived just down the road in College Station as an assistant for Texas A&M. Billy Kennedy, some Southland Conference ties of his own. Another free throw. And it's a board by Cameron Delaney.
Yeah, when you got both spots inside, when your opponents miss a free throw, you're supposed to secure the rebound.
Both Delaney twins are on court right now, number 2 and number 15. They were a part of a ceremony earlier today for their sister, Angela, who was honored on Senior Day for the women. All of them out of the Central Texas area, Killeen, Texas.
If you're gonna play man, everybody's gotta have a man. You can't let Gilmore be wide open to get the ball up the court.
Leon Gilmore III has 4 3-pointers on 4, single-handedly outscoring Sam Houston State tonight so far. This is after he had only hit 4 3-pointers on 24 attempts all year.
Yes, and right now, though, Stephen F's offense is just so quick and so balanced. They're moving the ball so good. They're playing a lot of players, but a lot of players are scoring right now.
One more for Aaron Augustin. Look, we'll point out Stephen F. Austin Sam Houston State doesn't want to hear it, but this is not a big surprise for them with this advantage. They've averaged about a 20-point lead the last 6 to 7 ball games. They are firing on all cylinders. They're not that concerned about the two teams ahead of them in the standings right now.
Now, when you're playing like they're playing right now, you're just ready to play. You want the season to continue.
It was actually Lamar that proved, as Kyle Keller would say, to be the kryptonite for SFA this year, dropping a pair. Open three, just off the mark. Ivan Kinnett underneath, battling for the rebound with Delaney, and it's a
If it wasn't for Lamar, Stephen F. would be playing for a championship this afternoon. They'd have won both of those games. But right now in the playoffs, I think in the men's, there's so many equal teams. I think Nichols, Southeastern Louisiana, I think Stephen F. is in that mix. You just got to play when the time comes.
Marcus Harris takes a seat.
Not a team nobody wants to play because of an individual named Jordan.
Right.
Nobody wants to play Central Arkansas because that cat can play.
One of the top scorers in the country. Delaney right now, defended by Bogues. Still plenty of time. One brother to another. Bogues, that was a 2-on-5 break. As they back it out to Kinnett. Got it. Something's in the water.
Well, when Kinnett the ball and caught it, I looked over at Bogues. He was holding the three fingers up. He was already counting that three.
He's a little more familiar source for three-point shooting, a 41% scorer from downtown. And Galbraith now with his third and fourth points early on. But Sam Houston State has just produced 6 points, and we're more than halfway through the opening half.
They got to find a way to defend Stephen F. Right now, you can't give up 22 points in 10 minutes.
Harris saying if just about anybody in black and purple could score from beyond the arc. Harris now.
And once Sam Houston State misses the three balls, they do a nice job of making it one and done. I'm talking about Stephen F.
Away from the basketball. Leon Gilmore just took a practice shot inside the three-point line to make sure that would work too. Kinnett will come out, Holyfield back up. We also see Gilmore getting another breather, giving way to John Como.
They can play a lot of players because they're playing such tenacious defense. So when you spend all that energy on defense, you're going to have breaks every now and then.
Quick release for Bogues. It's that kind of day on the road here in Huntsville for Stephen F. Austin. The crowd has traveled with them, and so has the three-point barrage.
Bogues right now is a nightmare. Him and Gilmore, isn't that about their 6th three ball? You think about 6 three balls now early in this game. They're pretty good right now. You watch him. He just runs an out-of-bounds play and just steps up and knocks it down. They're feeling it right now.
A 19-point lead for Bogues, and Stephen F. Austin a 20-4 run over the past 8 minutes. They're shooting almost 70% on the road here in this rivalry game.
You know, when this game started, I just thought this was going to be a nip and tuck game. But when you got another team that's just shooting the eyes out of the three ball, not much you can do about it. When you look up, Gilmore's 4 for 4 from the three ball line, and this makes Bogues 2 for 2 now, if I'm not mistaken. That's 18 points. That's a lot of points from 2 players.
Jason Hooten used to like the color purple back when he was at Tarleton State. He was hired by Sam in 2004 as an assistant, go on to be promoted 8 years ago. This is often essentially your de facto championship game in the Southland.
That's a good shot, Lincoln. You got to get a better shot when you got a team that hot.
Last off of Bogues, back over to Sam Houston State. Sam is 0 for 8 from beyond the arc here on their home court, while SFA is 6 of 9.
Yes, but what the Bearcats have come down and run their offense and go from side to side. They're letting the ball stay on one side without ball reversal.
Again, that's Cameron Delaney. Holy fights off a couple of Bearcats for that one. Kevon Harris is your second most prolific three-point shooter in the Southland. And they'll call him for a push in the... He has yet to connect.
Heck of a call there. Lots of times it's hard to see that play, but he was on his back. Good play. But still gonna say that when you come down to Stephen L, I think they're doing a great job on defense, and I think that's what you have to do.
Bogues going for the steal. Marcus Harris drives, looking for contact. Holyfield all ball, but was there contact underneath by Bogues?
I think there was contact before it got to Holyfield. I think that's what they're calling.
Yeah, Bogues is called his first. It's one of the few things not going the way of SFA. A 19-point lead for the Lumberjacks, looking to sweep the rivalry. Battle Woods here on ESPN3.
The countdown to Katy has begun. The Southland Conference Basketball Tournament, March 7th through 11th at the Merrill Center in Katy, Texas. Experience it live as Southland teams compete for a tournament title and a chance to go to the dance. It's affordable family fun and great college hoops action. Tickets for the Southland Conference Basketball Tournament are on sale through school ticket offices and Ticketmaster.com.
You have no facts whatsoever.
We're being ripped apart, but we have something unbreakable binding us together. Join Team USA over these 17 days as the world puts differences aside to play games, and you'll see humanity at its best. This is sport, and it will help unite us as one people and one world.
Welcome to Mid-South Bank. Affordable, flexible, innovative. Whether you're just starting out or a business owner looking to boost your bottom line, our banking professionals are ready to find solutions to meet your specific needs. If you're ready to take your merchant services to the next level, better manage your cash flow, or become more efficient, we're ready to assist you. Mid-South Bank is your bank for business. Let's talk about how to boost your bottom line.
Well, some free throws coming up here for the Bearcats. Just 3 field goals so far, 3 of 17 from the floor.
What a stat when you look at it. One team shooting 64%, the other one shooting 17%. No wonder Stephen Elf is up 25-6.
Marcus Harris started his college career over at San Diego. The San Antonio native returned back to Texas, and now a starter for the Bearcats for Jason Hooten.
You feel like if you're Coach Hooten, you want to know what in the world was that ball saw. Where did it come from? They've made, Steph has made the 3 ball, they've made 6 of them. That's 18 points.
Bearcats 21 wins last year, right now 18 wins. Just a couple shy of another 20-win campaign under Jason Hooten. But at the moment, those 8 points for Sam Houston State matches the 8 points off of the bench today for SFA. John Como is into Holyfield, and he leads Holyfield right to the... Como, the Beaumont native, with his first assist.
Holyfield did a nice job of isolating his defender, got a great lob, and they had a mismatch, they had a switch, and he goes in, and right now Stephen Elf is they're just clicking on all cylinders. Now the 3-point machine is coming back to the game. Gilmore. How many has he made all year now?
A career's worth. He's gone
made
4 for 4, yep.
And how many has he made all year?
8. Half of them today.
The Lord.
Ten to shoot. Galbraith has half of the points for Sam. 2 to shoot. Out of the hand in time, it's an air ball.
You got to shoot the outside shot. You were wide open. Why try to get closer? You're as close as you're going to get, Harris. You got to feel like you're going to make one of those shots. Stephen Ellis is a very difficult team to press. If you play them straight man, they just going to beat you off the dribble.
Ty Charles, no.
You got to remember, a shot from the three-point line is going to bounce out. A ball shot from inside the lane won't bounce very far.
Holyfield, just a junior. And they'll call him for an offensive foul. If nothing else, nice job selling it by Marcus Harris defensively, taking the bump from the bigger man.
Holyfield had a little guard on him. He shouldn't have tried to bull to the basket. That's the time to go around, have a little finesse, and use your advantage to shoot over a smaller defender.
So TJ will go to the bench. John Dewey III bringing the ball up the floor. Started at Blinn Junior College down the road. Gilmore's it all. Up ahead to Bain. And he comes up just short, denied by the rim. No, sir. Gilmore again. Goes back for seconds.
You didn't see that. I wish we had that on camera. Coach, watch this right here. Coach, we have a lot of exciting things going up and down. A shot. I don't know what all's going on right now, but Coach Keller's going to be sliding on the sidelines here in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. He did not agree with that call.
Gilmore with a pair of swats. Como. Want to be clear, that ball was simply taken out of bounds. And he is human, at least for a moment. Bogues has it stripped away. Quick hands from Devin Jackson. And the Bearcats fans, thanks to the defense, something to cheer about.
What about diving on the floor? We got it all right here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We got hustle galore. Both teams are fighting for their lives. What a game.
Neither team has scored over the last 2 minutes. Kick out. A rebound for Gilmore. And the crossover by Como will draw the foul from Dewey. And John Dewey out of the Bronx, New York, mentioned he started nearby at Blinn Junior College. Como will go back to the bench in favor of Aaron Augustin. And DeJuan Jones will come on for Sam Houston State.
I thought a minute ago, a while ago, when Coach Keller was sliding along the floor when he tripped, I thought he was trying for an Olympic gold.
And somehow able to save that, Augustin. Bogues, just a sliver of breathing room for that one.
Bogues just tapped his head. He thought that was going in all the way. Bogues right now is playing with his shooting with as much as any kid I've seen in a long time.
The defender did nothing wrong. The Bearcats cannot buy a three, 0 for 11.
On the other hand, the Lumberjacks are buying all their threes.
They're 7 of 12. Gilmore was trying to pass that ball. Hit the backboard. Count it. Free throw coming up for Jamal Williams.
You Cannot allow Williams to coast, baseline to baseline. What a play.
He'll look to add one when we return inside the 4-minute mark here in Huntsville. A look in at both head coaches. Kyle Keller on your left, Jason Hooten on your right. Free throw still pending here for the Bearcats. After they count the bucket, tack on the foul.
You're Coach Hooten, you're sitting here saying, what else can I do? I've got the points now with 16 minutes gone in the game. Right now, Sam Houston State is just struggling to score. They are shooting just a little bit over 18%.
Again, Bearcats have again matched the 11 points put up by the bench, led by Bogues of SFA, and Bogues going back to the charity stripe.
You're talking about a spark off of the bench. This kid right now, he's going for his 11th point in 11 minutes of playing time.
A couple smart guys were talking about him right at the start of the broadcast.
Oh, yes, that's why he was the star of the game before they ever played.
This is the 24th time he has scored 10 points or more this year. This is just his 31st game. Again, no room for him in the starting lineup for Kyle Keller.
You've heard of instant offense. This kid's got it.
Juwan Jones will bring it up the floor, pestered by Augustin. Up ahead, looking for Bogues, but a bit too ambitious. Galbraith has 4 points so far.
But you see how far the Bearcats are starting their offense. Stephen F. has just pushed them way out on the floor. They're having trouble making passes.
Sam is just one of their last 10. Again, SFA this year, 24-6 overall, 13-4 in conference. Charles, who's battled injuries throughout his career, goes strong to the rim.
Charles thought he might have gotten fouled, but I thought it was a good move. No call. You made the basket. Let's play basketball.
He had 20 points in Nacogdoches against Sam earlier this year, has already eclipsed 1,000 points for his career. Galbraith, another strong take. And Nathan Bain able to affect the shot one way or another. Bogues loses the handle. In comes Bain. There's a whistle, and they'll count the bucket.
I think Hooten's a little upset with the officials. He may be getting a tea time right now. I think the taller official of the two has shown great patience with him. He's been in his ear. He's made a point. And I understand a lot of collisions everywhere, but it's a lot of collisions on both ends. This is a physical game. They're just letting them play right now.
Up-tempo and physical on one end, then he sees a foul called against his guys on the other.
And always, when you're a little frustrated with how your team is playing, you're then also frustrated with ref. That's just human nature.
Nathan Bain averages just 2 points a ball game this year. Already has 3 now. Native of the Bahamas.
We talk about the Lumberjacks offense, but their defense for this half has been pretty suffocating.
Oh, it was just a split-second slow going for that steal. Instead, he's guilty of the foul on Marcus Harris.
He used the wrong hand. He tried to deflect the ball with his right hand across the body. He should have used his left hand. And now, the one good news is Sam Houston State's going to be on the bonus. Let's see if they can knock down a 1-and-1.
9th foul on SFA. The next one would be the double bonus. Harris, a 76% free throw shooter. Can't keep it going.
When it goes bad, it goes bad. You got a pretty good free throw shooter on the line. You can't make it to cut the lead down. You can't find anything to score.
And go back over to Sam Houston State. Bearcats have already played 10 men. SFA on the road has already gone with 11.
Part of it is Stephen F is going with more than 8 players because they got a lot of players that can play. Right now, Coach Jason Hooten's trying to find somebody to score. You got 11 points. You're just putting in anybody, hoping they'll give you an offensive spark.
Williams able to hang on to it. Kinnett, no-look feed to Gilmore, and simply out of bounds. Last touch by SFA.
When you're coaching Sam Houston State, you're asking one of your assistants, if they got more than 5 players on the floor, it looks we can't pass the ball. They're everywhere.
And a rare couple of points courtesy of Marcus Harris after the Bearcats had made just one of their last 10. See if defense can lead to offense in the transition. And Kinnett will make sure it's just a couple of free throws coming up in the double bonus.
Did you see Kinnett jump after the play? What a defensive player. This is a kid that he's not the tallest kid out there. What a defensive play.
This was a shooting foul. Would have been 2 coming up here either way for the New York native, John Dewey III. 86% free throw shooter. His first 2 tonight. He becomes just the 4th Bearcat to score in the opening half. Just a point. Inside the final minute. And Jason Hooten, halftime, could not get here soon enough to try to figure out some adjustments.
You have to make some adjustments. You're just trying to get to halftime. You're down 23 now, but if you're Stephen F, you use this 30-second timeout you get in the first half that doesn't carry over. You're going to try to run a play right now and try to get a shot off and not leave a lot of seconds on the shot clock at the end of the half.
In that huddle for Kyle Keller, just behind him, Desmond Heyman, just a few years removed from his last year as a Lumberjack. Last year he was a grad assistant, moving up the ranks. Kyle Keller says he's still trying to find ways to keep Desmond humble during his quick ascension now to essentially the number 2 assistant job. And again, we came into today knowing that Kyle Keller's group would be no worse than the 4 seed. They knew they had the comfort of a day off and would not be among the top 2. Bearcats, with Lamar falling to McNeese earlier today, also know they will be no worse than the 4 seed. So these 2 teams will each be getting the first day off regardless of the outcome here. But right now, this is taking some momentum into that conference tournament, which is an open field this year. There is no slam dunk favorite. Heck, there's a split in the ranking title between Southeastern and Nichols. Well, Harris has been producing the points as of late for Sam Houston State.
Now, if you're Stephen, you can hold for one shot, run it down to about 7, and then attack this 2-3 zone.
It is a half in which Leon Gilmore III hit his first 4 3-pointers. SFA has not looked back. Final of the half. It's a 21-point lead for SFA, number 3 seed, but no worse than the number 4 seed. That's a little delayed gratification for SFA fans each year. They don't get to see SFA until a couple days into the tournament usually.
Oh, yes, but let me say this. If they don't finish and go to 3rd, I want to see this miracle of 23 points from behind to come, or 21 points to come back and win it.
Nice start defensively for the Bearcats. And a foul will keep it on this end. You know, we talked about the scoreboard there and what things meant for seeding. There is a chance, I believe, A&M Corpus Christi's game, I don't believe it's gone final. They could make it a 3-way tie for that 8 seed, in which if the Islanders can win tonight, they would ACU and McNeese out of the tournament.
If Corpus wins tonight, can they make the tournament?
They would be
Mr.
in.
Stat
Would be in. Otherwise, it's McNeese that would simply have the tiebreaker if only the Cowboys and ACU are in. So no matter what, the Wildcats are going to have to wait another year to make their debut in the men's bracket. There'll be plentiful, though, still in Katy.
What's the score of the HBU Corpus game? You got it?
Have not checked in. Too busy watching one over in Huntsville.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a good answer, politically correct. Maybe Donald Trump needs to listen to you a little bit. But anyhow, let's don't get into that. Nice start if you're Sam Houston, but you got to score. It's all right to play, but you got to be able to put the ball in the back.
Ty Charles with the intentional kick of the basketball. Shot clock at Let me know if you see any noticeable changes by the men in the home white jerseys here in the second half. Nice rotation. Harris was a bright spot in that first half. Again, Marcus Harris.
Sam Houston has had the looks. They just could not convert to start this half.
Gilmore made the mistake of the 2.
Gilmore was too close to the basket.
Right. A little too unselfish underneath. Scrum. Let's see if this is simply out of bounds. It is. It'll stay here with Sam Houston State. 19 on the shot clock.
You got to say this. Both teams are hustling. Both guys are on the floor. Both guys are everywhere. These Sam Houston State fans, they stand each half till a made basket. They may be standing a while. They need a shot made right now.
Both teams are hustling, which means our 3 officials have been forced to hustle as well. Galbraith, remember, he had that slam to get the scoring started in the first half, but a drought would follow.
But Galbraith has done a nice job of. I thought that might have been 2 throws. They said it was on the floor.
On the floor. Galbraith, a 2-pointer for Chris Galbraith, but they will welcome the 2. 7 points now for Chris. And the score lets the Bears apply a bit of a press. Again, Kennett these days, your point guard when Bogues is not in. That was a mid-season adjustment, one that Kennett has welcomed. Charles with 3 to shoot. And a fresh shot clock for SFA.
Right now, the Sam Houston State, their defense has gotten a lot better. Very good.
Devon Harris off the mark as the rebound came down to Williams. Open look, 17-footer will not go for Edwards. Galbraith in a sea of Lumberjacks. Tap back is for Edwards.
Nice offensive rebound, and now they can apply a little pressure.
And timeout, Al Keller and the Lumberjacks. That lead has dwindled down to 17. We'll step aside when we come back. Bearcats looking to mount a comeback. Just a day removed from Sam Houston's birthday.
It's time to get up on your feet and show your Lone Star State spirit as the band plays deep in the heart of Texas.
First 4 points of the second half belong to Sam Houston State, looking to mount a comeback here at home. And they are contesting every ball, and they're going to say a backcourt violation on SFA. Look, if you play defense, eventually you're going to give yourself...
Yeah, I thought Coach Keller made a great timeout, but when you get the timeout to stop the run, you got to get the ball in bounds. You got to throw the ball in now. Stephen F's going to bring in instant offense. I mean, oh, can this kid light it up? But now if you Sam Houston State, you need a basket now. You've outscored them 4-0. You got to find it with the ball in the basket.
So now more than 3 minutes without scoring here in the second half by the Lumberjacks. And they'll have a foul presumably on Marcus Harris.
Gilmore's been a man inside today. He's done a nice job of just constantly being on the boards. He's 6'7" senior. He's played really tall. He's been tough.
Augustin up ahead to Gilmore. There's Bogues. And did not hit the rim. The fans let him hear about it.
Bogues was just a little too fast at that time.
They'll throw it away.
Gilbert got up in the air. He didn't know what he was doing. He's got to be able to be under control a little more.
Still looking for their first points of the second half, and from a familiar source, this up close from Gilmore.
You know, I like the way Gilmore's taking over this game. He's just said, hey, we're not going to lose, guys. You just get on my back, we'll carry us.
14 points for Gilmore. Talking to Kyle Keller, you and I on the phone with him this week, said just leave me a lasting impression about Leon Gilmore. He says he's become a good post defender. We've seen a little bit more than that. Jamal Williams.
But also see Lincoln why Stephen F has played a lot of players. They got a lot of players. You can play 10 players if you got 10 players good enough. Different players come in, play different spots, different roles.
Takes the lap around and drops through for Jamal. Much brighter optimism here in the second half for the Bearcats fans.
I think the Bearcats have done it with man defense. They've pressured full court. I think it's helped them. I think it's caused them to be more aggressive.
Well, you know one thing about Jason Hooten's team going into every single year, that group is going to play man-to-man.
He told me 2 years ago they had not practiced enough zone to even know how to play it.
Open look for Bogues. Yes.
You can't give Bogues that shot. That kid can shoot it, I mean, from everywhere.
15 points off the bench for Bogues, his third three.
Shooting 38%.
Second chance points, though, on the other end for Jamal Williams.
Going back to Bogues, when a kid's shooting 38%, can't leave him wide open.
He's already matched his season average of 15 points off of the bench. Again, he's the #2 scorer off the bench in the country. The 7th scorer overall in the Southland Conference. And Gilmore, again, continues to have himself a day, this time by multiples of 2 in the second half. He's got 16.
He just jumped out. Gilmore's just been Johnny on the spot. When he to be there, he's been there.
Harris, feed to Williams, and Holyfield affects that shot. Bogues and Gilmore. And Gilmore is headed to the free throw line. Every one fan base or the other can erupt with pure joy. It has been an up and down emotional affair, but SFA still in the driver's seat in this rivalry clash on the road in Huntsville. As Kyle Keller gets the troops around him, 14:44 to go. We'll step aside, still plenty of basketball to unfold before we say farewell to the regular season.
Get set and go. And we found our lucky row. Congratulations, and they get a winner for their continued support. Bearcat fans, 50-cent hot dog night over at Bearcat Baseball will be this Tuesday. So make sure you're there as your Bearcats to face off to Prairie View A&M with first pitch at 6:30 p.m. over at Don Sanders Stadium. Students, faculty, and staff receive free admission with the Bearcat One card. All other fans can purchase tickets by visiting GoBearcats.com. And speaking of tickets, this Wednesday is Wacky Wednesday, where fans can purchase $1 tickets to catch your Bearcat baseball team in action.
Well, we've been talking about it for the past couple of months, and it's about to become a reality. March 7th, midweek over in Katy, Texas this next week. It'll finally be time for the conference tournament to get started for the men. Tickets already available online, southland.org/Katy. Men get started on the 7th, women get started on the 8th. As the champions again will receive that automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. All great time, Southland Conference paired with the city of Katy, Texas, continue to outdo themselves from one year to the next.
There's going to be there's some great coaches in this league. I think there's one thing that's one of the best kept secrets. There's some outstanding coaches in the Southland Conference. There's going to be some great games over there because I especially think more so in the men than in the past. I don't see a favorite like Stephen F. used to be. I think they'll all come in here and be fairly even.
Gilmore hit the 2 free throws, has 18 points. Now back to the bench. Gilmore's career high is 22 points, 4 points away from that. Holyfield triple team, still almost avenue to the bucket. Instead, he'll go to the free throw line.
I thought that was a really good entry pass. Holyfield did a nice job, and for a big kid, 77% from the free throw line, that's really good. But right now, it's time to knock them down.
And Kyle Keller, his second year at the helm of SFA. His boss is retiring, Robert Hill, after 3 decades in Nacogdoches in various roles, including athletic director since 2005, was actually honored at helm by Bobby Williams, his counterpart here at Sam Houston State, and the Bearcat community.
Robert Hill is one of the most respected athletic directors in the business. He's one of those who likes his school, but he's for all athletics and all young people.
As regularly in the hunt for the Commissioner's Cup in the Southland Conference.
I see he got a putter as a gift from over here. He must go be playing all of his. You ever notice this? Going if you hit for the long drive, they give a putter away in the golf tournaments. You don't know anything about that, Lincoln, but that don't make sense. For the long drive, you ought to get another driver.
Just between you, my woods are still wood. Inside 14 minutes to go here in the second half. Jason Hooten's Bearcats are playing SFA even here in the second half at 10 points apiece. Bogues already 15 off the bench for SFA. And follow-up slam by Niemanen.
What a play off of the bench. First action he's gotten. He comes in and makes a difference. What a dunk.
Again, the sophomore from Helsinki. Brad Underwood behind him when Kyle Keller actually gave Underwood the reference. Keller was over there looking at a player for Texas A&M and mentioned to Brad Underwood, Sammy Niemanen would be quite the addition for SFA. Under the radar with a lot of D1 programs.
Yeah, and you help a friend, and how do you know that one day that player will be playing for you?
It's all part of the master plan.
All part of being nice to somebody else. Just remember that.
One more to go here for Marcus Harris. He's back. Leon Gilmore III has 6 points in the second half, 18 for the ball game, in place of fellow starter TJ Holyfield now. Harris takes care of business. He's had a nice outing.
But you know, they start the second half. At halftime, it was a 21-point difference. It's 21 points now. You've got to make up some ground somewhere in here.
Harris back to the bench with 8 points. Half of them have come from the charity stripe. Gustin runs the point. Only 2 starters on the floor right now, Gilmore and Charles for SFA. Kick out to Bogues. And Niemanen, an arm being held back during all that, just could not save it. Bearcats with a stop. Let's see if they can play a run here. They'll also fix the net in addition to mop up the floor.
I thought that ref might could jump up there and touch it. We had to let a little old guard come through, not to get the net straight.
If you're an official and you think you can get the net down 9 out of 10 times, you don't risk it.
No.
This is not necessarily a safe place for that one time you fail. 12 and a half to go here in the second half. Again, Stephen F. Austin has not trailed on the road today. Before the ball game, Bearcats realized they would do no worse than the number 4 seed. So no matter what, these two teams will both get that first day off in the conference tournament next week. We heard from Mark Kellogg on the women's side about getting 2 days off. That means they will not play for an entire week after today.
See, I never did mind that. Let me rest mentally better prepared.
Finally, the rebound for Williams. And a nice nearly regular effort offensively from John Dewey.
Yes, and you can't allow a player to go from coast to coast. You got to find a way to solve it.
And Dewey forced the turnover from Como at midcourt. And we'll step aside with 12 minutes remaining here in the second half. He's still hanging on to a comfortable margin up on those Bearcats by 19.
Contestant tonight is Robert. He has one shot from half court to win the all-new iPhone X. So, whenever you're ready, Robert, let her fly. No pressure. Looks like he's just a tad short. Thank you for playing, Robert. And thank you to the Armory for the support of Bearcat Athletics. Fans, as a reminder, today is our final doubleheader of the season. That means you can eat with the men's basketball team after the game tonight over at Double Days Pizza Works. Be sure to come out and meet your Bearcats and enjoy some pizza. And don't forget to use your flyer for a special discounted price on the buffet. Thank you to Double Days Pizza Works for their continued support of Bearcat Athletics.
12 minutes to go here in the second half inside the Bernard G. Johnson Coliseum. We'll mention the one other notable game in the Southland going on tonight on the men's side of things. A&M Corpus Christi leading HBU by 2 with 12 minutes to go. If the Islanders can pick up a win over the Huskies tonight, the Islanders will capture that final spot, the 8th seed this week, and take it away from McNeese, who got a big win over Lamar earlier today. Como well off the mark. It's still plenty of drama here on the final day of the Southland Conference regular season.
And if you're right now, if you're Coach Keller, you're saying to yourself, this game is not over with. When you play somebody on the road with the 3-ball in effect, anybody can still win this game. Almost 12 minutes to go.
You and I saw the Islanders and the Huskies in Corpus earlier this year. That's when Joe Kilgore went off for that triple-double. And another tight one in Houston that we'll keep an eye on.
Houston Baptist was down 21 at halftime, had a shot to win it in regulation and couldn't win it. So you always have a shot, but you can't have it when you have the ball out of bounds under your back and you make a useless turnover like that.
Gilmore adds a steal to his resume today. He's 2 rebounds shy of a double-double.
I feel confident he'll get that.
Ty Charles looking to drive, draws the contact off of Edwards. Ty Charles has mainly just been a facilitator in his 26 minutes he's played on that court, longer than anybody else here tonight. Mentioned Ty Charles is your 4th-year senior for SFA. So he's the one guy who's been with them for the past 99 victories over these 4 years, looking for the program's 100th victory during this 4-year span.
Only think 5 other players that Stephen F's ever done that.
And of course, looking to add more victories in the conference tournament, possibly a postseason play as well. Nice feed into Gilmore. That's his highest percentage shot of the night.
Yes, but what great penetration and unselfish play to give it up.
2 points away from his career high. Count the bucket, free throw coming up for Edwards, the junior. A moment ago, great feed by Como into Gilmore.
Como did a nice job of penetrating. He drew Gilmore's defender to help out, then he give it up for the best shot in the game.
And Ty Charles a constant over the years for SFA. 2 years under Brad Underwood, now 2 under Kyle Keller. Throw good from Edwards. 3-point play complete.
Charles has been one of those kids that plays every night I've ever seen him play. We've had him a lot. They come out, they play every night. He plays defense, he bounds, he's unselfish. You can win championships with Ty Charles.
Been battling through some injuries throughout his career. Never makes excuses. Connect, long 2. Other way with Edwards. Baseline drive, Niemanen held his ground. Harris to Gilmore on the reverse. A foul will send him back to the stripe. He has matched his career high for a 3rd time in his career. He puts up 22 points and he has set a new personal standard at the free throw line in a moment.
Does a nice job on the reverse layup. He's able to protect the ball with his body. He just played on just completely inspired basketball to me tonight.
A native of Houston out of Manville High School, started his career over at Trinity Valley. Now in his 2nd year with the Lumberjacks. That is a new career high for Leon Gilmore III. Sparked by 4 pointers in the first half. By the way, Bearcats are still 0 for 13 on the arc here today. Harris from Niemanen. Got his own rebound and a much closer for the putback.
You know, when you come on the road, you see a team that Stephen F. has just played so inspired with such confidence and enthusiasm.
Connect lobs, could not finish it above the rim. This is Cam Delaney, and that's a blocking of free throws coming up for the Bearcats for Jamal Williams.
Great presence by Jamal Williams at that time. Was able to go in, finish the play, catch the ball. And lots of times when you're in a crowd like that, it's hard to convert, especially with 2 defenders between you and the basket.
It did go in, so you count the bucket and 1 free throw here. Connect, turn and fire. Delaney off the mark. Kyle Keller's about to go even deeper into his bench. Ty Charles and rattle through and locks eyes into the crowd.
Well, I don't want to put the fear of anybody, but Southeastern Louisiana, Nichols, you better be real, because I'm going to tell you, Stephen F. looks awfully good to me tonight.
Kyle Keller was not too concerned about his team's chances against anybody in this league. He did again admit Lamar had proven to be an obstacle for them, losing both of their games. Gilmore is going to come out, the senior. He comes back in the final 8:07.
But see, this is where you need your sports information director's got to sit over and say, Coach, Gilmore likes 2 more rebounds. Put it in the game and tell him don't worry about scoring, go get the rebound. When Cheryl Swoops played for me with the Comets, she needed 1 more assist to get a double-double, and I told her don't shoot it again. I called her over and I would ask me a question. Don't you shoot another shot past the ball till we get you an assist.
I have a feeling if Gilmore wanted 2 more rebounds, he needed to miss more shots. As Jovan Juric, the 7-footer out of Serbia, has come on to replace Gilmore. They'll play slightly different roles in that post.
One will stay on the block. Gilmore can go anywhere he wants to.
Well, here's Grujic with the touch up top. He is not thinking about shooting it from there. Into the Serbian. And that's probably what he's most of his time practicing. And
fall-away jump shot against the 5'11" guard.
And Chance of Jovan are filling the opponent's arena. 7:32 to go here in the second. And things are even going away for the men deep on the bench for SF.
Prize package from Bearcat Athletics. All right, fans, let me see you get Kadiak crazy. Let's get into it. Get started. Get started. Get started. Let's get this 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 started.
Well, 10 of the 11 Lumberjacks we have seen today have found their way into the scoring column, including most recently Jovan Grujic. Came to the States for high school over in Connecticut after growing up in Serbia, member of the U19 Serbian. Marcus Harris at the line, 6 of 7 at the charity stripe today for 6 of his 10 points. Tied with Jamal Williams for the team lead 10 points.
Harris is 2 for 11, but he shot 6 for, he's now 7 for 8, 8 for 9 from the free throw line. He struggled for field, but he's kept up his free throw shooting.
Over in Houston, they are still tied. The Islanders and the Huskies with 8 minutes to go in the second half. A tough way to go out for ACU, as the Wildcats will not be able to qualify their first year for the men's tournament. It's either going to be McNeese or A&M Corpus Christi grabbing that final spot. Right now, the Cowboys and Dave Simmons are in, but if the Islanders can prevail in Houston against HBU, they'll take that final 8 seed away.
Explain to our viewing us why there's certain teams not eligible for the playoffs, for the tournament.
Well, everybody's eligible this year. It's just a matter of the only 8 teams can make it out of the league on both the men's and women's sides. Past 4 years, those teams transitioning from D2 to D1 have to sit out of the conference tournament because they're not eligible for the NCAA tournament. This is even though a couple years ago UIW would have been one of your top seeds. And Galbraith again here on senior day, now with 8 points.
I'll say one thing, Sam Houston State has not given up. They've been down about 20 the whole second half, but they keep playing hard.
This ball is coming our way as Ty Charles able to keep it in play. And more free throws appear to be on the horizon for John Dewey.
See, I thought defensively you could have just let Dewey drive to the basket, don't foul him. He's going to have a hard time making that shot. Don't put him on the free throw line.
So Bearcats have managed to outscore SFA in the second half, right now 25-23, but a 21-point deficit at the half. is what has SFA still in the driver's seat by a decent margin. Charles and Grujic to the bench, as both Bain as well as Holyfield return. Aaron Augustin out of Suwanee, Georgia, matched up with John Dewey. Holyfield has this range. It finds an open Harris. Lumberjacks get numbers defensively back. No look feed and an easy bank off of the glass. Josh Boutin.
Now they put it down to 15. If you could just get out to about 8, you'd have a shot at the end of the game.
Boutin got the start. I think those are his first 2 points. He played 6 minutes. So a full timeout here with 5:16 to go, a 15-point ball game at the moment. SFA looking to complete the regular season sweep of the Bearcats and lock up that number 3 seed in the conference tournament next week.
If I'm Coach Keller, I'm going to get my starters back into the game. I'm going to get my first 5 back in. 15 points with a 3-point shot. I just don't want to take a chance on losing this game after I think I've kind of got it wrapped up.
Remember last year in his first season at the helm, SFA fell in the semifinals to A&M Corpus Christi. After knocking off Lamar in the second round of the conference tournament, they would go on to the CIT, fall to Idaho in round 1. And again, here is the upcoming broadcast schedule for us on ESPN3 for both the men and the women. We'll have the first, second, and semifinal rounds on ESPN3 exclusively. Men's championship game, once again, national audience on ESPN2 Saturday night. For more information about it as it gets finalized this evening, you can head on over to southland.org/Katy. The women's bracket is already complete. All 8 seeds and matchups are known. As Mark Kellogg, the women's coach at SFA, reminded us, not only does his team not play for a week, they won't know until the night before, right before they go to bed, who their opponent will be the next day when they make their debut in the semifinal round.
Yeah, that's okay because I'm resting, you're playing, I'm fresh, you're tired, and you got to play a game that you could lose. Give me the bye every time. I see we've made the substitutions. We've put a lot of our starters back in. Gilmore's got back in. Holifield's back in. I think that's a good move.
So Gilmore, a career-high 23 points, has 8 rebounds as well. 9 on the shot clock. Augustin. And Galbraith goes up for the rebound. Quite the pace. Gilmore, another block. 3 on 2. And they'll just take more time. Count the bucket, Harrison won.
What a great play. You had Sam Houston had brought it down, they'd cut it a little bit, and then Harris just takes it up and takes it to the basket. Stephen emphasizes me with their athletes here. They have good athletes, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" athletes. They all can handle the ball. They can all make plays.
4 points for Harris, make it 5 in his 17 minutes tonight. It's the kind of game where some three-pointers could help you get back into it, but Sam Houston today on their home court 0 for 14 from beyond the arc.
You can't beat a tough team when you're 0 for 14 from the 3-ball line.
And Cam Delaney looking to end that number, 0 for 14. .18-point advantage for SFA. looking for another 25-win season.
That's incredible to think that you win 25 games. That's just a lot of basketball games in a year.
Harris the other way. No, sir! Gilmore with the block, but Galbraith able to finish it up.
What a great hustle by Galbraith to come after the missed layup to be there for the offensive rebound.
Leon Gilmore has 4 blocked shots tonight. Holyfield, that's his range. And a foul, he'll send it back the other way.
Yes, and the Bearcats are in the bonus. Anytime you can cut the lead down without the clock running, that's just an advantage.
Well, Bearcat persistence paid off for their last couple of points. Still with 3.5 minutes to close out the regular season. Gilmore would get his 4th block, but Galbraith to finish it up for his most recent 2. He's got 10 tonight for Sam on Senior Day.
Bring out the Tough Shirts T-shirt cannon. All right, fans, flash shirts going in the cannon. Who wants it? Let me hear you.
A look into the 2 huddles as we break up this timeout. Again, Kyle Keller, we talked about the depth of SFA, but last year he had to build and manufacture some of that depth. They lost over 100 games worth in terms of players being out due to injuries last year alone. As a result, SFA loses games in conference last year, and that's more games than SFA fans had been accustomed to losing total the previous 3 years.
Yes, that's because Coach Underwood did a great job there, but they had experience. They had so many players that lost so many points. I thought Coach Keller did a great job under the conditions of how many points and reads he had returning.
Right now, Jason Hooten's men down by 14.
And in your Coach Hooten's case, you've done everything you can. You've given up only 63 points. You're 0 for 15 from the 3-ball line.
They are outscoring SFA 33-26 here in the second half. But again, it was a 21-point deficit at halftime. Gilmore sitting on his new career high, 23 points. And both teams are in the bonus from here on out. That's the 8th team foul on the Bearcats. So just the 1-and-1. Gilmore is 3 for 3 from the charity stripe today.
He's a better 3-point shooter to me than he is a free throw shooter.
He should take a few steps back is what you're saying.
Yes.
Galbraith determined. 9 down for Gilmore. Again, the clock on the side of SFA. Holyfield to put back, no. Harris to go.
Harris did a nice job of following his shot. That's why he got those 2 points. He didn't go in there and assume somebody else was going to get the rebound.
We get a bump on Leon Gilmore there along the baseline. And the double bonus is in effect for the Bearcats. Clock stops to put up some points. Ty Charles is about to return. Again, SFA looking for their 100th victory with him. A big part of these past 4 years, including some NCAA tournament runs. But when I asked Kyle Keller to summon your class, he just said, look, it's a selfless group. They're not worried about their numbers. They are all very capable scorers, but they're even happier when their teammates are putting up the numbers. Ty Charles, an example of that, has played as many minutes as anybody tonight for SFA, but just 4 points to show for it.
That's why they got 25 wins. They're 2 minutes away from it because nobody cares about what I'm doing individually. I care about what we're doing collectively.
A double-double night when he scored a career-high 23 points, at least so far, for Leon Gilmore III. He can add 4 blocks as well. So 4 of your starters back on the floor right now. The exception is this young man, Augustin. Other way, Harris into traffic. And a couple free throws coming up.
Harris has been a factor in the second half, going coast to coast. He has 12 points. He's 8 for 9 from the free throw line. He's got a chance to add 2 more.
Foul was called on Knet. Most of Harris's points coming from the free throw line. He's been aggressive for Jason Hooten's squad.
The Lumberjacks done a nice job of running the clock, of utilizing the 30-second clock. And with about a 15-point lead, they've only shot the ball in the last 10 seconds of the 30 seconds.
SFA starters looking to close this one out, along with Bogues. Bogues tonight, 15 points off the bench. That matches basically his standard night in, night out.
Now, if you're Stephen F., you get the ball and bound clock out. You know, you've got enough points scored. You're just trying to hold on.
It appears that SFA will finish the conference season 14-4, while the Bearcats will go to 12-6. Both of them improving from a year ago. As Delaney goes up for the rebound. Straight away, Galbraith. He had the first 2 points in the ball game with a big slam along the baseline. And he's looking to cap it with 3. He's got 13 points, the timeout call.
I hope they got a 12-point play over there in their little playbook they're calling.
You saw a little exasperated look. It's because that's the first 3-pointer for Sam Houston State tonight after missing their first 16. But again, despite the outcome here, Jason Hooten's squad is going to be a top 4 seed and have a first-round bye in the conference tournament to get back on track.
And it doesn't look like to me it makes any difference who you're in the bracket with. Southeastern Louisiana, Nichols, who you play first game. It could go either way.
It looks like we will go off the air before the other game wraps up in Houston. Right now, the Islanders lead the Huskies by 2 with 2.5 minutes to go.
What a game they're having.
It's a Huskies team that only won 2 conference games this year, putting up a fight. And right now, everybody in Lake Charles has become HBU Husky fans, at least for the evening.
They got their computers on full blast, don't they?
Ivan Knet. SFA can't quite dribble out the clock here. Chance of SFA as the fans on their feet. The women with the victory earlier today. Men looking to close it out as well. And a shot clock violation will turn it over. Ty Charles will come out for Jovan Grujic.
Well, that was a good move by Coach Keller. Instead of trying to go down and shoot ball with 6 seconds, he just run the clock out. The game is basically over with.
Knet will come off as well. Kevon Harris in his place. And we've already seen Gilmore come out of the ball game for Kyle Keller. It's going to be his 42nd victory in 2 years at the helm of Stephen F. Austin. That'll do it for your regular season Battle of the Piney Woods.